If you can't fix it with back squats and fish oil, then you're probably gonna die. Have you ever heard that saying before? Well, I've got a version that goes something like this. If you can't fix it with squats and steak, then you're probably doomed. Whichever way you say it, the message is pretty clear. Squats and quality nutrients like omega-3 fatty acids or protein, they should be the cornerstones of your health. Squatting is without question a positive movement pattern and behavior that we all should be doing in our lives. Unfortunately, it seems like the majority of people can't seem to squat without pain. Even in the fitness community, there are large percentages of people that either avoid squatting altogether or are fearful of squatting because of the pain or discomfort they feel when they're doing it. I have to admit that in my early years as an athlete, I developed my own love-hate relationship with squatting too. I knew it was beneficial, but every time I tried to do it frequently, I found myself in some sort of knee pain. The pattern was almost always that my left knee along the medial side would start to feel painful. At one point, that pain and dysfunction got so severe that I sought out medical intervention and had cartilage cleanup surgery. In hindsight, all that surgery did for me was it forced me to stop being active for about 6 to 8 weeks to let the inflammation calm down. But eventually, when I got back to movement, the pain came back, albeit not as severe. At that point, I made a commitment to never get another surgery unless I had done everything in my power to improve my own squatting and improve my own dysfunction. The functional bodybuilding community is made up of thinking athletes, those of us who try to learn the why behind our training so we can explore new ways of moving and improve and stay curious and open-minded. So here are 3 roadblocks I encountered personally in my squatting journey and what I've learned from others and my past experiences to stay out of pain. Before I dive into some of these roadblocks that I've faced, let me just say this. Squatting is absolutely safe. It can be done in a variety of regressed ways all the way up to world-class strength. When squatting is performed correctly, at the right dose and intensity for you, you can build the strongest knees, the healthiest body of your life. Don't be afraid to seek out advice from people who encourage squatting, and if somebody tells you don't squat, then I would absolutely encourage you to find another teacher or another mentor to help get you on a path to pain-free squatting. Okay, the number 1 issue and roadblock that I faced. I was super quad dominant from my years of playing soccer and from all the planting and kicking in that sport. Particularly as a goalkeeper, I had developed very stiff ankles. That combination of quad dominance and stiff ankles was a recipe for disaster when I started to squat heavy in the sport of CrossFit. Years later, I learned some very valuable lessons that in hindsight I wish I had known, and I'm thankful that I know now, and these lessons came from my friend Ben Patrick, otherwise known as the knees over toes guy. The first lesson: grab a sled and pull it backwards and push it forwards. Pushing sleds and pulling sleds is one of the best ways to get blood flow and strength to the knees and the ankles without a tremendous amount of load. In fact, if you can walk, then you have the strength to do this already. A little goes a long way, and you can incorporate this in every single day of your life for 5 minutes and see tremendous benefits. Improving your knee health and ankle health with sled pushing and dragging is going to go a long way to help give you confidence when it comes time to squat. The second lesson that Ben taught me was about NORDICs. That's right, the NORDIC hamstring curl. So much knee pain exists on the front portion of the knee for so many people. Therefore, many of us will seek solutions on the front of the knee. We'll foam roll, massage, we'll tape, all around where the pain is. But what I've learned that is a major key to healthy knees is having strength on the back of them through the hamstrings. Incorporating NORDIC hamstring curls weekly in my training for the past year has solidified this valuable lesson. The last lesson I'll talk about today from Ben is learning the knees over toes split squat, also known as the ATG split squat. I've long been an advocate for doing single leg training to help with pain, strength, and overcoming performance plateaus. But last year, I learned this powerful movement variation from Ben, and it has stuck with me since. It combines all the benefits I was getting from doing more traditional split squats, but it also brought together some vital range of motion in my ankle and my knee and my hips. So now the ATG split squat is a staple exercise that I rotate through training cycles when I'm developing single leg strength. Okay, the second big issue and roadblock that I ran into. Mobility was extremely boring to me. It was not very sexy. I was always looking for faster solutions because I didn't love hard mobility work as much as I loved hard training. A great pump, a tough Metcon was always more satisfying than a painful mobility session. So my goal was always, how can I make my mobility more efficient? It then dawned on me at some point that this was essentially the same thing as me saying, how can I get really strong, but just lift weights once a week? How can I build a bodybuilder physique, but skip all the bodybuilding dieting? So these lessons came to me from Adam Fetter, functional bodybuilding master coach and doctor of physical therapy. The first lesson, internal and external rotation of the hips might matter the most. So there's really no quick fixes to anything with mobility, but there are certain starting points that might have a bigger bang for your buck. Many of us get stuck thinking about flexibility in one plane of motion. Hamstrings are stiff, my hip flexors are stiff, but I learned from Adam that hip rotation, both internally and externally, is a better starting place to think about enhancing flexibility. If you lack good rotation in the hips, then your frontal and sagittal plane mobility drills for the hamstring will only get you so far. Just like hitting your protein goals is the most important macronutrient to start with, for the lower body health, especially around the knee, you might want to address your hip rotation. Adam has also helped me to appreciate the idea that we need to spend more quality time in positions that are tight and stop trying to do everything all at once. Meaning, stop trying to biohack your way to shorter time solutions in mobility. Mobility happens when you give it time. You really just need to spend more time in positions to get the benefit. Adam taught me just to pick 1 to 2 things and hang out in those positions rather than trying to do 30 to 60 seconds of 10 different mobility drills all in one routine. The final issue and roadblock that I had was that fitness racing, aka CrossFit, it made me lose sight of full range of motion at times. How this lesson might apply to you is that you've gotten caught up in the numbers and the outcomes of your training. You see the numbers going up on the bar, you see your abilities in the gym getting better and stronger, and you're chasing those goals and losing sight of building great foundational range of motion in patterns like the squat. In the pursuit of moving fast and trying to race other people in fitness, I had learned how to very effectively do the bare minimum when it came to range of motion in order to win. I became a master at squatting my hips just below parallel and then coming right back up. Why squat ass to grass if I could get all the same points by squatting just below parallel? As a result of skipping out on that extra range of motion in the pursuit of going faster, I could see myself developing range of motion limitations over time. Now, it was clear to me that there was a very big advantage to having a very tight range of motion when it came to speed, but it was creating problems in my joints, and that was leading to pain in my squatting. So I took these lessons from the sport of CrossFit and my fitness racing experience. The first, I was going to use control points in my strength training to help me prioritize full range of motion work. I started to seek out ways inside my training where I could actually prioritize full range of motion. This was best suited for when I was doing strength training and accessory work, since in those sections of training, there was no incentive to move really fast and race anybody. Furthermore, when I really started to dedicate to better range of motion training inside my strength work, I also started to learn the value of using tempo and extended range of motion reps to hold me even more accountable to those positions and still help me build incredibly great strength. This included having long eccentrics or long negatives, holding long pauses at the bottom of squats, and using 1 1/4 reps to extend the range of motion that I was doing in my movement. Now, what I love about functional bodybuilding is that it is a system of training that allows me to bring together all of the best lessons and practices that I've gathered over the years. And this is an evolving process, and I don't see it stopping anytime soon. So what follows is a snapshot of how we approach squatting inside the Persist Perform program, and I bring these lessons together for a start-to-finish workout that helps me ensure I'm getting stronger, building strength characteristics and muscle endurance characteristics, but not losing range of motion, and in fact, enhancing my range of motion in my knees, hips, and ankles as I train. The first part to any functional bodybuilding session is called our prep or warm-up. I've injected some lessons from Fetter and Ben Patrick right here. I'll start with 3 to 5 minutes of reverse sled dragging, then I'll move into 2 to 3 sets of the following movements to work on my hip, internal, and external rotation. You'll see me doing shin box switches or 90-90 hip rolls. You'll see me doing some shin box good mornings. And then finally, the Russian baby maker. Next up in this functional bodybuilding strength session is an absolute strength front squat, back squat couplet. These are some of the lessons that I learned during my sport years in CrossFit, how to use these movements to get stronger, but also prioritize range of motion and position. You'll notice that on every rep here, I am trying to get as low as I can on my descent, and where there are pauses or slow eccentrics, I'm being strict to the tempo. The way this superset works is you begin with a 1 1/4 front squat at a 3-0 x1 tempo. You want to do 3 reps that are tough and challenging. You rack the bar for 15 seconds and immediately go into a back squat with the same load. Now, the back squat is a more mechanically advantageous position, so you should be able to do more reps with the same weight. I'm implementing a pause at the bottom of these back squats to reinforce that bottom position, that full range of motion of my squat, and I'm aiming for 5 reps. After the couplet, take a long break, add some more weight if you can, make sure you're hitting your range of motion, and go again. 4 sets total. The next section of training is called strength balance. We'll often have accessory exercises that complement or reinforce the squat pattern and are great lower body training accessory moves. Today, I'm taking my lessons from Ben Patrick, and I'm doing a superset of NORDIC hamstring curls and knee over toe split squats. Now, we have a variety of ways that we approach these movements. I'm performing the NORDIC hamstring curls with a very long eccentric. That is a slow negative of 4 to 5 seconds on the way down, and I'm aiming for 5 to 6 reps. After approximately 60 seconds of rest, I'm going to move into a knee over toe split squat. And for this one, I'm doing a dumbbell in one hand and I'm doing a hand support on the other. This is going to allow me to get some load, but also have balance and really explore my range of motion for 6 to 8 repetitions. That superset's going to happen for 2 to 3 sets per leg and per exercise, back and forth, and then we're going to move on to our cool down for the day. All the cool downs in Persist have been written by Fetter. These movement patterns and stretches complement the training that we do on any given day. Today's cool down is focused on building up the middle split. I'm going to spend 2 to 3 minutes in my middle split in a supported position so that I can breathe, relax, and let the stretch take hold. If I'm feeling good and comfortable, I'll stay in this for anywhere from 4 to 5 minutes as a bonus. Additionally, I'm going to do some middle split knee bends after I've completed my full middle split 2 to 3 minute hold. And finally, we're going to finish holding the bottom of a squat for 2 minutes. If you feel good, hang out there for an additional 1 to 2 minutes. Even go for 5 minutes continuous if you'd like. 10 minutes of a cool down stretch, really just focused on 2 main positions, is how we move the needle in terms of flexibility. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got some great tips on how to take the lessons that I've learned and apply them in your own life to training. If you resonated with any of these issues yourself, then I encourage you to maybe watch this again, really let the lessons sink in, and ideally, go give a workout like this a try and see how it can improve your squatting and give you more confidence on how you can squat pain-free. If you want to get this workout, go to the description in the link below. You are going to get a full download of this workout start to finish. Plus, we're going to provide you with 2 full mobility follow-along videos that you can link to watch Adam Fetter take you through some lower body, hip, knee, and ankle mobility to improve your lower body and your squat. Remember to give us a thumbs up if these videos are adding value to your life, and make sure you subscribe for future videos when they drop on a weekly basis right here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.